one of the thoughts I'm having. We have to challenge the beliefs that we currently have. The beliefs that we currently have actually hinder our progress. The beliefs that we currently have don't allow us to look outside of those things because we're so married to them. You can be married to those, but also do some other things. That's the beginning. We have to, again, understand that there's a deficit going on in the way that we approach the world. We approach the world we're real strong in all types of things. I mean, all things are necessary, but we love to be in the ethereal, the right brain. We have to balance it out with the left brain. Those of us who are very strong in the left brain, we got to deal with the right brain. But for the majority of us, we are really stuck in the ethereal. We don't want to deal with just facts and data. And facts and data, there's truth in it. There's truth in facts and data. Then what we want to say, that's the white man stuff. I'm sorry. We can say we want to say. We cannot say, but we can, again, our African ancestors who gave civilization to the world, gave the arts to the world, gave music to the world, gave the sciences to the world, and don't use that aspect of ourselves. Now, we all good with all the things I said before, but when we get to the sciences, then we say, oh, no, I'm not dealing with that. Our African ancestors who gave mathematics to the world, who gave medicine to the world, who gave literature to the world, we're good with literature, and we're good with philosophy. Our African ancestors who gave God consciousness to the world. But we have to tap into those mathematics, medicine, sciences in order to balance ourselves out. And also, you know what we got to do? We got to be able to follow. We got to be able to be with. We have to be able to go through a process. The minute that we don't agree with something because of our current beliefs, it hinders us from moving forward in the very thing that we're asking for. Because some things we can't say, but we have to go through a process to. I know some people don't like the word follow. We got to get over that. We have to find somebody or somebodies that we can trust enough to go through a process. You can't go through a rite of passage without going through something and not being challenged. We don't want to be challenged. I'm not saying everybody, but we have to be able to go through the process, to be challenged, to be hurt, to heal up again. That is what you go through to learn. That's what you go through to build your body. That's what you go through to build your mind. That's what you go through to become an expert martial artist. That's what you go through to become an expert poet. That's what you go through to be everything. So we have to take that same level of discipline in this type of cultural process, a philosophical process. We have to face the things that we want to stop looking at. That's too much for me. You're not too old to be a student. You're not too old to be a student. You're not too elite to be a student. There's always. You're not too old to be uncomfortable. So what am I saying to answer Baba Abu Jamal's thing is we have to come together and realize who amongst us can help us through that process. And another thing, just to keep it real, we have to stop trying to do things on ourselves and trying to recreate things when we see things that are already in motion, and add what you have and the momentum that you have to that momentum and bring about what we need. People continue to come to, it's difficult for people to be a part of a thing many times in our community because we have to be the it factor. We have to learn who is it, who are these people, who can take me to that next level. One thing I was thinking about today, in as much as we want to talk about the Western system, when I walk in that classroom, you better believe that students, for the most part, appreciate that.
to come and take us into the next portion of our program, and that is the Mayat Circle of Enlightenment. And his topic today is truth. A liberating factor, that part. Come on, Doc, let's go. Come on, give it up for our Doc.
Blessings, family. Let's act black now. Talk black to me. Blessings, family. All right, we're going to flow today. I'm so excited to see everyone. We've had some phenomenal, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I'm going to just let it flow. Sister Trina in the house. Ashe. Ashe. All right, how's everybody doing?
Strong, brother.
All right. So, praises to our ancestors. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. So I know who is young and I know who is older. Wiser and wiser. So.
We know who our elders are, and we respect our elders.
Okay. Ashe. Give everybody who came before me a round of applause. I have no idea who did that. I don't know what happened before me. I saw some ceremonial stuff going on.
Come on.
I don't know what happened, but I was there. So I'll sit down. Sit down, stand up. I'll do all of that. But if we can just reflect on the last few weeks. What is the title today? It's like Truth as a Liberating Force. Thank you, Sister Queen. Everybody give Sister Queen a round of applause. She helping us out on this big screen. So, truth as a liberating force. So, again, we been meeting over the last few weeks. I think this will be like the fourth one. Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
About the fourth one since we resumed?
We're a month in.
We're a month in? Let's give that a round of applause. I want to give a round of applause to everybody and thank everybody for all their participation up to this point. And looking forward to further collaboration, further togetherness. So if we can just take a moment of silence. All be silent, DJ. So I want to ask a question. How are you arriving today? What is present in your spirit? 2 minutes for those who want to talk about what's present in your experience and kind of try to tie it back to truth as a liberating force. But what's present in your spirit?
I was on a bus stop. I met a pastor. Fortunately and unfortunately, he's a gentleman that I will connect with Brother Curtis. But we had a conversation on the bus all the way up here. And for me, y'all know my term, those who know me, confirmation. Thank you.
Who else?
I think for me, it's anticipation. A lot of people are concerned about what's going to happen, particularly with who's in the White House. But we know that those that came before us dealt with much more critical dynamics, and they were able to do great things in spite of all of that. So for me, anticipation of the great things that will come through us, to us, and for us as we work together to build what we're building. I'm complete.
Today, what's on my heart and my spirit, I've been thinking a lot about the concept of the year 9 and the thought of the numerology behind the number 9 and embracing change and accepting healing. And this is the year of, for me, and I think for the world, and especially this country, for embracing change and honoring change so that we can move forward to heal from traumas that has happened for us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
If y'all could say your name, that would be helpful.
Well, I'm Mama Danu, and I don't want to be the voice of woe, but coming from a truthful spot in my heart, I'm feeling unprepared and I'm feeling anxiety. But at the same time, I'm holding on to faith. A lot of what has been happening and going on is like conflict and confusion as to how much of it is natural and how much of it is evil. So, yeah, that's where I'm.
I think one of the most revolutionary acts one can engage in is simply to tell the truth. Just to tell the truth is revolutionary. And at 77 years old, that's my quest, to continually seek out the truth in this criminal enterprise that we live in.
Ashe. So, for those who've been here, those who watched online, those who just tapped in through the spirit, how do the rebirth of the Temple of African Thought, that message, catharsis without insight, that message, the revolutionary and Afrocentric king, that message, and Amani faith in us in the time of Trump resonate?
I can't remember the title of the message specifically, but I know it was the message that was about Dr. Martin Luther King. That message resonated so deeply within me, just because when I think about Dr. Martin Luther King and how you broke down and explained how he was African-centered, though it might not have been overt or to someone that is not actually studying him, I saw so many similarities in my approach to life, and it reminded me of my own African-centeredness that might not always be obvious to everyone, but it's ingrained in me and it's always been in me and how I move and go about, and that was really liberating for me.
So I have a script, right? But I always like to jump off of it. So anybody who wants to jump out but still be on, just go ahead, let's talk. What insights? Mama, you had a question last week. I'm not sure if I actually answered the question.
I think it was, how do we get back into balance?
We have people listening, so if everybody can use a mic.
The question was, how do we get back into balance?
Yeah, I watched that presentation, right? And I said that we are, lopsided. I think that's how I put it. We are lopsided. And I think you wanted more about that. And then also I think the question of how do we get back in balance? I think first and foremost, we have to really identify that we are out of balance. And I'm saying, and I think you said, why is that? The question, why do you say that? What do you mean us being out of balance? And we have a strength, and I'm going to say it is our spiritualness, our ability to tap in, our ability, even our religiosity to a great degree. We are very strong in that area. And I think what I pointed out is this idea that because we lack the material reality, the materialness or material things, our immaterial, we got real strong in that. We became really strong in it to some degree where the material is not important to us. We believe that the material, some of us really believe that the material, we say, I'm just a spirit. You're a spirit and you flesh. You're all of that. And sometimes we speak about the immaterial, but never speak of the material. I understand for various reasons, including some of indoctrination growing up through different forms of religions and things of that nature. But from an African-centered perspective, the material is just as important. The material is also spiritual. The spirit has no other way to manifest but in the material. So the material is a very important piece. There's no ritual without material. We did a lot of ritualistic things today. These are material. And sometimes we get caught up with the immaterial because that's our strength. And what I mean is we have to do things in the material realm that counterbalances that. What does that mean? I think we need to sharpen our intellect as much as we sharpen up other areas. We need to learn things like, we say all the things like math, our ancestors who gave the sciences to the world. Our ancestors who gave all these different things to the world, but we don't really tap into those things. We tap into the ethereal, but we don't tap into the material. I don't know if that makes any sense. Questions, thoughts, rebuttals?
Abu Jamal. I think from my worldview perspective, maybe the question is how, because we know the results of, we know the benefits of, we know the wonders and the greatness that our people have shown and continue to show through the years. I think it needs to be taken from a philosophical standpoint and construct to those people as yourself and others that are able to tell us how. How do we attain that greatness within ourselves? How do we become those ancestors in the present?
So we have to challenge again, as I started off, right? One of the thoughts I'm having. We have to challenge the beliefs that we currently have. The beliefs that we currently have actually hinder our progress. The beliefs that we currently have don't allow us to look outside of those things because we're so married to them. You can be married to those but also do some other things. That's the beginning. We have to again understand that there's a deficit going on in the way that we approach the world. We approach the world we're real strong in our types of things. I mean, all things are necessary. But we love to be in the ethereal, the right brain. We have to balance it out with the left brain. Those of us who are very strong in the left brain, we got to deal with the right brain. But for the majority of us, we are really stuck in the ethereal. We don't want to deal with just facts and data. And facts and data, there's truth in it. There's truth in facts and data. Then what we want to say, that's the white man stuff. I'm sorry. We cannot say, we can say we want to say. We cannot say, but we can, again, our African ancestors who gave civilization to the world, gave the arts to the world, gave music to the world, gave the sciences to the world, and don't use that aspect of ourselves. Now, we all good with all the things I said before, but when we get to the sciences, then we say, oh, no, I'm not dealing with that. Our African ancestors who gave mathematics to the world, who gave medicine to the world, who gave literature to the world, we're good with literature. And we're good with philosophy. Our African ancestors who gave God consciousness to the world. Well, we have to tap into those mathematics, medicine, sciences in order to balance ourselves out. And also, you know what we got to do? We got to be able to follow. We got to be able to be with. We have to be able to go through a process. The minute that we don't agree with something because of our current beliefs, it hinders us from moving forward in the very thing that we're asking for. Because some things we can't say, but we have to go through a process to. I know some people don't like the word follow. We got to get over that. We have to find somebody or somebodies that we can trust enough to go through a process. You can't go through a rite of passage without going through something and not being challenged. We don't want to be challenged. I'm not saying everybody, but we have to be able to go through the process, to be challenged, to be hurt, to heal up again. That is what you go through to learn. That's what you go through to build your body. That's what you go through to build your mind. That's what you go through to become an expert martial artist. That's what you go through to become an expert poet. That's what you go through to be everything. So we have to take that same level of discipline in this type of cultural process, a philosophical process. We have to face the things that we want to stop looking at. That's too much for me. You're not too old to be a student. You're not too old to be a student. You're not too elite to be a student. There's always. You're not too old to be uncomfortable. So what am I saying to answer Baba Abu Jamal's thing is we have to come together and realize who amongst us can help us through that process. And another thing, just to keep it real, we have to stop trying to do things on ourselves and trying to recreate things when we see things that are already in motion, and add what you have and the momentum that you have to that momentum and bring about what we need. People continue to come to, it's difficult for people to be a part of a thing many times in our community because we have to be the it factor. We have to learn who are these people, who can take me to that next level. One thing I was thinking about today, in as much as we want to talk about the Western system, when I walk in that classroom, you better believe that students, for the most part, appreciate that. They understand there's something there. It's interesting, in our very communities, you can go to, I'm going to use myself as an example. You can go in and teach master level and PhD level students, but when you come to the community, everybody want to buck you. Like you don't, and then they want to tell you all the things they know. Like you don't, in fact, sometimes you're saying things, and I know you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I sit there and I listen. But there are African proverbs that say that a wise man listens while the fool continues to talk. What you say there, Brother Montu? Yeah, go ahead.
It's a story to go about this young man that went to a wise man to get some wisdom. So when he went to see the wise man, he started talking to the wise man. And he started telling the wise man of all the things he had done and what he can do and everything. So the wise man just continued listening. 2 hours later, the man is still talking about himself. So the wise man started pulling some tea for him. And then he poured himself a cup of tea, and he started pulling the young man a cup of tea. And he continued to pull the tea till the tea was running over. And the wise man the young man said, the tea is running over, the cup is running over. He said, yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Come to me when your cup needs to be filled.
Come on.
I said,
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Good help from him. That's what we're here for.
So you got something about
No, I was just speaking about, I guess, the process. think, understanding is a process. I think even in, academia, they understand it's a process, right? So they understand that to go to this next level, I must adhere, I must listen, I must go through this realm. So I think even understanding there's a process is important. I think that's the foundation of understanding that there is a process, and we cannot get to, I guess, that next level without undergoing that process. So I think it's important to just understand that there is a process. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so we wanna circumvent the process. We want the microwave result. In fact, we want to circumvent the individuals or the collectives that can help me get through the process, because I want to say I did it by myself and I don't want to be accountable to nobody else. That's truth. Again, I forgot the name. What was it? Truth as a liberating factor or something like that, right? The truth is I don't know what it is. I can't remember, but it's something like that.
Liberating force.
A liberating force? Was that God without the mic? Okay, thank you, God. So there's an African proverb that says, you about to say something about it? Omniscient? Omnipotent? Oh, okay, omniscient. All right. The truth may be delayed, African proverb. The truth may be delayed, but it will never be denied. Any thoughts? And we can tie it back. I'm not sure if we went there, but again, the truth is that we got to go through processes, and this is why culture is important. Lots of us during this time want to escape culture. We think culture is like, it bounds us. It's old-fashioned, you say, Mama? It's old-fashioned.
I shouldn't have a Ravens hat on here. Culture.
So take it off. Well, look, let's deal with that. Nobody in here has the culture that you shouldn't wear the Ravens cap. We adapt to understand that there's people around here foolish enough to wear them.
I'm glad you brought up food. Because of the Semitic language, specifically Arabic and Persian, numerically speaking, fool is synonymous with saint.
Saint?
Saint, yes sir, wise man. So yeah, I like food.
Thank you for the
Food. Go ahead.
fool. Now, there's a difference between calling. I ain't give you all that sanctism.
It don't matter.
I ain't call you a fool. I said foolish enough.
It don't matter.
I was talking about the behavior, not the person.
I got it.
Okay, so you ain't get to fool level yet. You still working on it. So again, the truth may be delayed, but it will never be denied. Now, Bobby, what do you say about what I just said, though, as far as the idea of going through a process?
You asked me.
Your answer, your question was, how do we get there? Because that's one of your ongoing questions. How do we get there?
The question is how. And one of the first processes of the how is you have to learn how to learn. And then you have to learn what to learn. Realizing from my worldview that those qualities and features inside of us have been systemically bred out of us. These things have to be reinstilled. So that's a lot. That's part of the problem. We don't know how to learn, and even when we learn, we don't know what to learn because we don't have elders and teachers like us to pass that information on.
We do. That's part of the issue.
In a collective.
No, we do have the collective.
Yeah, I'm saying like us.
Yeah, so if we have it, we can't not have it at the same time. Right. What I think what happens is we don't acknowledge those that are before us. We don't acknowledge those who are in our midst. We take each other for advantage. What is the word?
Granted.
Granted, thank you.
Granted.
Did Brother Kevin leave?
No, right here.
Go ahead, drop on, hit on
I want
that.
to clarify something. What is the difference between knowledge, understanding, information, and progress, and can it be measured? Knowledge. Knowledge refers to the facts, information, and skills acquired through experience or education. It involves awareness and familiarity with a subject. Knowledge can be measured in terms of how much information a person has retained or can recall accurately. For instance, passing a test on a specific topic demonstrates a level of knowledge. Understanding. Understanding goes beyond mere knowledge. It involves the ability to grasp significance or meaning of information, concepts, or ideas. Understanding requires insight, interpretation, and the ability to explain or apply knowledge in different contexts. It can be measured by assessing someone's ability to explain concepts, solve problems, or predict outcomes based on their knowledge. Information. Information refers to data that is organized and meaningful. It provides context and answers questions like who, what, where, and when. Information is the raw material from which knowledge is derived. It can be measured in terms of its accuracy, relevance, and accessibility. For example, completeness and reliability of data sources can indicate the quality of information. Progress. Progress signifies movement toward a goal, movement or improvement or advancement. It involves positive change or develop over time. Progress can be measured by comparing current status against previous benchmarks or desired outcomes. For instance, in education, progress can be measured by evaluating how much a student has learned and compared to their starting point. In closing, knowledge is about what you know. Understanding is about making sense of what you know. Information is about the raw data from which knowledge is derived, and progress is the positive change or advancement over time.
But with that knowledge, it has the time to turn into wisdom.
Yeah, when I've learned that when knowledge is applied, it becomes intelligence. And when it's applied accurately, it becomes wisdom.
Did you say that again?
Yes. Knowledge, when applied, becomes intelligence. And when it becomes wisdom, it is applied accurately.
Oh, you can't leave. You gotta sit back down.
Oh, he just. Oh,
drop the mic?
But
He gonna drop the mic?
he set me up because he sure ain't answered my question.
He gonna drop the mic.
Yeah, when we take each other's good intentions for granted. Yeah.
Okay, he sure ain't answered my question. He done did a sermon, but that's his precursor. He gonna be speaking in a few weeks. So go now, answer the question.
No, actually, the word sermon is a perfect term. But here we go. No, the question you talking about intentions, right? We take it for granted. We take each other for
We
granted.
take each other for granted
Yeah,
because Baba
yeah,
Abu Jamal is saying
yeah.
that we don't have people in our midst.
Yeah. That's he or she who controls the projection could project what they want to project about you. So, and that's dealing with cognitive dissonance when we don't see that which is right before us. And when someone is projecting something, control the projection of an image or anything, we can't see that which is working for us. So that which is laws is when we take each other's good intentions for granted.
So I was just thinking while you were talking about your question and then what you just mentioned. I guess the question is, how can we connect those who are ready for like a movement with like, I'm not sure if it's the youth versus the elders or how it's viewed, but I think that we have to figure out how to utilize this energy of, I guess, the new age youth who are ready for it. Because there's people in my midst, I'm only 22, who are ready for some sort of movement, and I think we've been talking a lot about things. I've been to a few events where we talk a lot, and I think a lot of people who are my age are ready for something to like take place. And I think that's where the disconnect may be. I'm not sure if that was the question, but that's what I was thinking about. I think we need to figure out how to merge you all's wisdom with our energy to make a change.
You know, when I go ahead.
I think it's what the brother just mentioned. It's in your midst, you don't even see it. The beginning, the nucleus is right here. This is the beginning from your perspective. And now you're in this environment. We're all conscious or striving to be conscious or more conscious. You're a striving system. If you connect with those individuals, a chance they might come next week, next month. You talk about them, even if they don't come. This is the beginning. This is the networking. This is the beginning of the glue that's going to cement this and make it larger and better, more positive and productive.
And I think that was one of the important things or reasons why I kind of put us in this order. Because we always talk about where are our elders? Where is our collective wisdom? Where does that collective look like? And I always say that a youthless movement is a useless movement. So we're building and connecting the pieces. You are our collective wisdom. This is an honored seat to be able to sit to the left. It's an honored seat. We're elevating you to a status. And it's important that we claim that status. And it's important that the young sister come and be able to see you. So when you see you on the highways and byways, we understand that these are those that we elevate and that we go to for wisdom. We don't want them to always have to go to themselves. They're ready. And when the student is ready,
The teacher will come.
Now the issue with that is, going back to what we said earlier, lots of times that is the question. Where are the teachers? Because the teachers before me, I don't trust them. I don't think they're really going to guide me in the direction that I think we should go. I mean, this is a youth. I mean, none of us ain't too far from being a youth. We blinked our eyes and we are where we are now.
that's right.
And the same conversation been going on for forever. At least, especially in communities.
You all right?
Especially in communities.
Part of the process.
You understand? And somebody taught you how to do that.
Right.
You all right there? Yeah. So part of, from my experience, is that the youth have a lot of energy, and they don't think the elders have the same amount of energy, and they feel like the elders are often trying to cut their energy or their wisdom or their understanding. In fact, they begin to think the elders are just pacifists at some point. I think there's some truth to it to some degree, but it's not completely true. Hold on, I was trying to go about right. Oh, go ahead. All right, so again, that process, you have to be able to trust the process. Again, like, we understand this process in every other area. But when it comes to what we call a movement, we don't trust the process. We do it at our jobs. We find mentors to start our businesses. We even whatever our individual endeavors are, we can find a mentor. And we can even listen to them to some degree. But the people who are the most successful in these type of endeavors actually had to acquiesce to some degree to a mentor, to a jegna, to a teacher, to some degree where they totally disagreed with them and thought they were leading them down the wrong path, just to come out and realize maybe a day later or 2 days later, 2 years later, or 10 years later, that person was giving them really good word, sound knowledge, wisdom, understanding, all these type of things. Sometimes we wake up 3 years later and say, wow, I now understand what you were saying. And that right there is what happens over and over and over again. We do not respect our elders. We do not respect those who come before us. We see them as not being, we don't. Again, I'm going to say again, I know we say we got to listen to the youth. We should. But it doesn't mean we have to agree with the process that you go through, that you the road that you take, and you're going to do it because you're going to do it anyway. But I guarantee you, those who find eldership, those who find mentorship, those who find generalship often avoid the pitfalls that others will experience because they were able to discipline themselves enough to be under someone's tutelage or someone's or somebody's or a group's or collective's tutelage. So knowledge is important. Experience is important. Eldership is important.
Yeah, I was just going to say, almost so much of it's funny when you finish your statement, you kind of stole my thunder. A lot of what you said was what I was going to kind of like allude to. Things like the youth, as he was saying, it's the process that my experience. Oftentimes, the youth, the process is not what the youth think it should be, and because they don't, they don't like the process, then it kind of, in their eyes, my experience is that my credibility is undermined. I don't have the energy. You mentioned the energy, like, raring to go and ready. Now I ain't got that kind of energy. So it makes me not sexy. It makes me not attractive. So, but the process is what the process is, because I think oftentimes what I've learned is that, and I often speak of meaningful change. Meaningful change. I think it's a little bit, of a difference. Change is a process. I tell people all the time, change is a process. It's not anything. And when engaging young people, oftentimes I find that they want change and they want it now. Come on. And I'm not saying you can't. You can do that. You can blow the whole darn joint up. But that's, I guess in my years, my experience has shown me that is not meaningful change, that is not sustainable change. And oftentimes it's pretty selfish because it don't help nobody generally but like yourself. And so I struggle trying to, community is something I talk about when it comes to the young folk. You gotta find community. All flowers don't bloom at the same time. And everybody brings value. I often say that, to young people to start where you at, use what you got, and do what you can. It just ain't sexy, but it's, I believe, a good framework for meaningful change, sustainable change. And that's because we're in this for the long. This is a marathon. It's not a race. So the process is not always sexy, but the process is the process. And trying to circumvent the process does not help anybody ever, I don't think. That's all.
Yeah. I think this is why Black History Month, and the experiences now that Trump is putting in front of our faces is very important, because I think a lot of things the younger people may have heard about but didn't necessarily feel the realness of it. And I think that now, because of the quickness in the changes that he's trying to bring about, they're being forced to see, this stuff was real, and I don't want to go back there, and I don't want to go back there. I don't want to see losses from things that we thought we had gained. And that's why I say I feel unprepared now, because I think we had gotten comfortable in the little meager things that we thought we had achieved and gotten over or whatever, you know. And I think the young people now look at it and say, well, y'all didn't do what y'all thought y'all did, you know. So the connect that is needed for me now is for the younger people to bring their modern day knowledge together with the wisdom of the elders and try to come up with maybe a whole new path or a whole new method. No. Because, like I said, we talk about Sankofa and learning from the mistakes of the past. And we really have to do that. We really have to look at the past in order to think about what we learned from the past.
So, the young people always brought on the fire. And will continue to bring on the fire. You see what I'm saying? So, a movement is never seen to be moved, but it's always going to be there. It comes. You understand what I'm saying? Like when we was young, our movement was like, at that time, but it just came. You don't see it coming. You see what I'm saying? Our children today, the fire that they have is good fire because we need that fire. And their movement is that's part of the movement. The part of the movement is rap. You see what I'm saying? Some rap, not all rap. You see what I'm saying? But the good part of it, you know, poetry. You see what I'm saying? All that is our movement. I see great things in our children. You know, I go and teach children. So when people talk about our children and my children, I'm like, well, I don't know what you're saying, but I see our children as greatness and always will be. I'll share it.
So everyone has been talking about a process that is taking place, and a lot of people don't want that process to continue or to take place, and some say it's the young that feel that way. I think, period, all of us kind of feel that way because a process usually involves some type of change, and change doesn't necessarily feel good. And things that don't feel good, people tend to not want, and they tend to avoid. So whether you're young or you're old, the process is going to be something that's going to be painful, and people don't like pain. And it takes a level of maturity to say, hey, you know what? I got to endure this pain to go through it to get to the next thing. And even though, let's say I don't get exactly where I thought I was going to get, that process has still allowed me to grow and mature and get better, maybe for the next change or the next thing that I have to do. So when we were talking about science and mathematics and ethereal things, those things, the science and mathematics, hey, I might not be into that. And I can do all these other things easily. But the whole idea, wait a minute, I gotta read a book, take some time and sit down and do something, take some time and learn how to, I don't care if it's crochet, do whatever it is. That means I actually have to get physical with something, and I might not be that person. All of those things mean embracing the fact that I don't have it all. And I might need to go to somebody else. And somebody else might have to let me know I don't have it all. And dealing with that is what I'm dealing with. It's called authenticity. How can I be authentic in myself and say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling as great as I want to feel. I don't feel like smiling, even though I normally do. I think right now, what a lot of us may be dealing with is trying to be, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk for other people, I will speak for myself. What I am trying to do is be more authentic in reference to things that I need to learn things that I need to do better. And beyond that, in that dealing with it, try to deal with the pain of learning, realizing it doesn't come. If I knew how to snap, I would. If it came like that, it'd make it easy. Understanding, hey, it may take a minute, but still sticking and staying in it so I can get to the other side, because I'm worthy of that.
Thank you. So, one thing that Mama said before she grabbed the mic back, I was thinking, and Sister Carol and everybody, and I'm going back to this message, catharsis without insight. I think about this catharsis without insight, which was the first one we kind of resumed with. Yeah. And well, cognitive dissonance, let's do both of those, and then we'll kind of do like a wrap around and wrap it up, because my timekeeper, we want to keep things brief here. I thank y'all for that. But so when I think about catharsis without insight, that message, and even the ones after that, I think the truth is we were not looking at what our elders, our elders, our thought leaders had told us. If so, I don't think we would have gotten that comfortable. Dr. Amos Wilson said it's not about, the way they control you is not so much about what they'll take away from you, as you see right now. He said it's more about what they give you. So right now, if some things literally and actually get taken that's significant, y'all gonna fight. I have no doubt. I'm happy. I'm sorry. I know I don't feel good. I live in, don't feel good land. I'm a little addicted to it. Because I understand that things are accomplished in that, as we spoke about, as Dr. King spoke about, tension. He said peace is not the absence of tension. What do you say, Bob? Peace is not the absence of tension. I think he said it's more about, what is it? It's the presence of justice. So we gotta fight for justice. Mayat, truth, justice, balance, harmony, order, reciprocity. Our ancestors, even before King, knew about justice. The truth is, we were in a cathartic state. I don't know why. Yes, I do. It feels good. People often ask me over the years, they used to come in the circle and be like, so can't we just believe? Why can't we just believe that? How many people remember those kind of questions? You can believe that. It depends on if it's working. How is it working for you? How is it working for us? You can believe that. I don't have a problem with people believing stuff is not real, as long as it's working for them and also working for us. I maintain that lots of what we've been doing has not been working for us. And I don't think it's an elder or younger thing. I think all of us have been in a state of catharsis. This society is very complex. The life is very complex. So again, when I think about, I think Sister Caroline kind of knocked it out of the park. But I know through struggle, we will get something. Going back to the beginning of the beginning of our talk, we have to be able to trust. We have to be able to go through a process. But I understand why elders and younger struggle too, because sometimes and lots of times, those who were supposed to be there for us weren't there in the way that we thought they needed to be there for us. So we struggle. And we are very, if I could be honest, in truth, conflictual. In truth, we don't feel safe. In truth, we are oppositional and defiant. And when we're oppositional and defiant, it just tells a person who knows that you want to know if you can trust me. So what you do consciously and unconsciously is test me. Because you want to push me to the limits to see how I might be like everybody else. And I as a collective I might, like everybody else, might abandon you. But it will happen. Because you'll wear somebody down. Because you have to constantly put out the bait to test. At some point in a healthy system, you'll realize that you can trust this person in that way. I have very honest people in my life, and they tell me, look, like I question you. I question you, but you never showed me why I shouldn't. Or you never showed me why it's both of them sound funny. But you never showed me any reason why I shouldn't trust you. And continuously the tests come over and over again. I was mad at you, but you called me. So, you know what? All the things I was saying was my stuff. And we do that. And because of our lack of attachment at early ages or whatever aspect and parts of our lives, we struggle with trusting one another. That is a main thing we have to do. We have to deal with the truth that we don't trust. We will not move on anywhere if we do not learn to build trust. And one's inability to trust is more about them than it is the person that you don't trust. Or the people you don't trust. It is more about your inability, your abandonment, fears, and all these type of things than the person. Because when you trust yourself, you know you can go into war and you know you can stand on your square. So again, the truth is, if we were listening to that black stuff, the truth is, if we were listening to that African stuff, the truth is, those who even espoused and articulate the black stuff, got tired of espousing it and articulating it because people would turn them down and say that's old, that's the 60s stuff. So you know what? They even say, you know what? I'm gonna relax. This is too much work. So I fall into it. Everybody else is in there. Let me get high too. Pass it. Pass it. Pass it. You know, I'm tired of trying to wake people up. So I might as well hit that too. And it feels good until you get a great awakening. It feels good until somebody blow your goddamn high. It feels good until I blew a lot of people highs. I never got high before, but I blew a lot of people highs. I'm just that guy. Y'all know what I'm talking about? But I get high for life, so somebody can blow you high. Yeah. Well, speak for yourself.
That's right.
That's the truth.
I statement.
But look, Mama.
Well, what I was going to say back a couple paragraphs was that I think something that we often forget is that we like to say that we're brave and we're courageous, but have we ever been tested? Have we been tested and have to, gone through that act to prove that we're brave, to prove that we're courageous?
Yeah, we was tested a couple times, and COVID was one of them. See what I'm saying? With the revolution run through COVID, some people ran away from COVID, and some people just stuck there and continue to do what we do, right? I say.
Some Some of us cured ourselves with bleach.
That was a joke for online, all right? So I think we all been tested. No, I agree with Baba. We all have been tested. People have personalities. Oh, that's outside. You said really? Yes. A personality will tell you how a person will respond. I think we need to learn more about personality. And because we don't know personality, we continue to be upset. When you learn personality, you will learn what the person's going to give you. Maybe you take 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But one thing about personality, it shows up when it shows up.
That's what I tell people all the time. Why did you get married? You do that.
You guys, that means you have to set another type of limit or boundary.
Right.
But personality shows up. The same people that you know that fight, they will fight. I'm talking about, you know, people like, you've been tested in so many ways. You've been tested in business. You've been tested in school. You've been tested in so many things. I'm talking about tested. You might get scared for a little while, but after a while, you gonna come out and you're gonna face the bombs. You won't climb up. You already know who's gonna do what. All you gotta do is think about it. And that is one of the most interesting things, is that if we learn personality, we will learn, we won't be let down as much as we are.
Right.
And we will learn to put energy towards certain personalities that will accomplish certain things. Everybody has strengths, no matter what their personality is. Some people run fast, some people fight hard. You know, just think about it as a football team. You put some people in the front line, you put some people, you make them wide receivers. Some people, good coaches. The football team has to believe in the coach, the quarterback. In this type of community, we again have to be able to trust in a system. It has to be culture. It has to be organized. It has to be intentional. I would just say, reflect on it. Reflect on your truth. Reflect on how you are hindering a collective process. The truth I'm going to just say right now is, I see too many of us trying to do things individually because, one, we struggle with the idea to work with others or not being the head chief. 2, we don't want to go through the process. We don't want to go through a process. Hence, it hinders our ability. We talk about rite of passage, but are we ready to go through a rite of passage? How am I not showing up? How am I not connecting with people to take things to another level? And we don't, and 3, this is the one I was really looking for. We don't know our own limitations. We don't know our own limitations. And the other thing is, because we don't know our own limitations, we struggle with seeing others' strengths. Mom.
My observation in living is that I can only help someone else as much as I love myself. And I'm reminded of a time of a sister I was going to school with, and I had moved out to Arizona by choice. She had moved out to Arizona to go to rehab. And she's doing well in school and everything. And then 2 weeks passed, and I didn't see her. and I got very concerned because I probably wanted her sobriety more than she did. But I've never done crack or anything like that, but I purposed that I was going to hit every crack house until I found this girl. And I found her and snatched her out and told her that she was so much more than this. And I go back to what I just said. You can't help anybody else until you love yourself to the degree in which you're trying to help someone else.
Ashe, and that's truth. You can't help people any further than you've gone yourself. So in closing, family, I want to say what a closing proverb is. Truth is great, and it will always prevail. Truth is great, and it will always prevail. Think about the things that Mama Donnie spoke about when she said, you know, at least we thought that we've gotten these things. As Dr. Amos Wilson says, if they give it to you, they can take it from you. That's one way of looking at that. There's many ways you can look at that. The truth will always come out. That concrete out there is not the truth, is it? What's going to happen in a few years if you don't maintain it? The real stuff going to come out, right? It's going to rise up. Yeah. And the truth is, we will rise up. People say we're not made like our ancestors. I say we are made exactly like, we got the same DNA. We are our ancestors. I'm saying more than spiritually, I'm saying genetically. You know what I'm saying? See, that's that one side and the other side. All of it, you know, genetically you are your ancestors. So why would you believe that you and us, we couldn't do it? We can prevail, and we will prevail. You gotta go through something to get there, though. So, in closing, family, any closing comments before we wrap up out of here today?
Well, I see some new faces. Just introduce yourself. What you got from your message?
I'm Rita. This was great. It was amazing. Sometimes this was great because my family, my village that I have at home, having an opportunity to actually reach out to other people who are like-minded and listening to what everybody here has to say. I don't feel alone when I'm teaching my family. And just to piggyback off a lot that was said today, in my village there are younger and then we have elder, and the young people are really strong and they're ready to have a change, you know. And I think about everything that they say to me, and they're right. We are not as strong as our ancestors were, right? And they look at us like, okay, you had a whole century and then some to make something happen. And then, as Mama said, we thought we had something going, and we didn't, right? So to put it all together and just wrap it back around with the knowledge piece of it, you guys said so much about the mathematics, the science, and all those things. We need them, and the younger people can't get it unless they get it from us. Because if you get it from them, it's not for us. You understand? So knowledge is power, right? The wisdom we need as a collective, you're only going to get it from your elders. Like, you can get it from everywhere else, and it won't be for you. It'll be for somebody else, but it won't be for you. So this was just so empowering, and I just really can't wait to come again and bring my family.
Sure. Bold enough to speak truth. Live truth. Be truth.
My name is Nana.
Who brought you out today, Nana?
My grandmother.
Oh, and where's your grandmother at? That's the grandmother? Oh,
Don't you see the side
thank
of
you,
your
Nana.
mama?
Who haven't said much?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about some of my elders. Today when I was driving my car, GPS created by a lady named, sister named Gladys West, created the GPS. Someone we look up to. And Patricia Bath created the laser, removed the cataracts from the eyes. It's my brother that's had it done. It's done by a black woman. So someone we can look up to, still living today.
And one of the greatest things about having this place is we don't just wait for Black History Month.
Yeah.
Black History Month for us is 365 days a year.
Leap year 366.
And 366 for the leap year. Come on, Baba, with that wisdom. Thank you. Sister Trina, you got something for us?
It's controversy. What do I have to say? It was a lot. I was just kind of really absorbing everyone's take and stuff like that. I say for us, I think we have to have grace with our folks or whatnot, because I think Black people have been fighting since we landed here in America or whatever. And I mean non-stop or whatever. I wanted to recognize the 80s and 90s where drugs attacked our community, and a lot of people are in like survival mode or whatever, just trying to deal with that. That's what I feel like. I don't think it just looked different or whatever. The fight was just different. And then when we talk about Trump, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I am and I'm not, or whatever. When I'm saying that is, I know you guys don't like that. To me, Trump symbolizes the fire underneath our feet. It's a thing that we need, because I think we get so comfortable with things sometimes, or whatever, the way things are, or whatever. Black people have been voting democratically for a very long time. And if you keep doing the same thing for a very long time, you ain't going to get the same result. In order for you to reap change, you have to do something different. And to me, when Trump is in office, a light bulb goes off in our community, like, oh, we gotta fight, we gotta do this. We need to be doing that. Have that same mindset, no matter who's in office. That's my take on it, or whatever. But yeah, I think that's really all I would want to just contribute. I think the conversation was great. I think everyone had a lot to say. In regards to the younger folks, I love hearing and seeing younger folks or whatever, the fire that they have. And I see a lot of stuff that they already doing. And I'll be like, for a long time, I'm like, I always thought like that. But they ain't thinking, they just doing it. You know what I mean? I love that energy and stuff like that. And I think when you talk about wisdom and stuff, our elders are here. I think sometimes it is a disconnect or whatever on both sides. Like sometimes us as older folks or even older think a certain way, you need to do things this way. And the younger folks have a different idea. I want to put a certain spin on it. You know what I mean? And it's okay for them to put that spin on it. We have to let them do their thing and let them be okay with making, if they make a mistake, let them make that mistake and grow and stuff like that from it. So that's all I have to say.
A lot over there, huh?
Grandma?
Well, you know, Sister Trina, and everyone else, I was going to say it previously, but from my perspective, what you said about Trump and fire under our feet, it's very interesting. Because last week I wrote Truth for Saturday Afternoon on social media, realized that working, operating, and doing when one's back is against the wall, like a rat, cornered, is no measure of faithfulness, will, determination, resilience, commitment, fortitude, loyalty, and the like, etc. So, may both the waiters and the haters wait, the will of change forge ahead. In other words, if we're doing things because our backs are against the wall, we're doing it because our backs are against the wall. What we're doing here is to do it consciously, up front, with knowledge, wisdom, and action. Ashe.
Thank you. Alright, so I'm gonna close it on that one, family. Whenever we're having these conversations, especially when we talk about the elders and the youth, I think we have to always consider culture. And the lack of culture with some of our, what we call elders, and the lack of culture when we talk about those with our youngsters. to do and not think is problematic, and to do and to give orders without being able to adjust is problematic. But the thing is, though, I would argue that we have a major issue with passing on culture, passing on tradition, passing on experience. There is, from my standpoint, there's no need to have a disconnect between elders and youth. In fact, there's a natural tension is there. A natural tension. But there has to be a respect. There has to be a respect for those who come before us and walk the walk. Because we ain't going to do. We are not going to do exactly like they told us. We just aren't. But the reality is we are totally ignoring them right now. There's no, for the most part, we don't respect our elders. We do not respect culture. We do not respect tradition. And there's no order unless we have culture and tradition. We are people who want to do everything without any accountability. We want to have freedom, but no discipline. We want freedom and no discipline. We want freedom and we are reacting very, instead of responding. We are reacting. And to do without thinking or having culture is reactionary and is not thought out. And then we continue this cycle of what we have. Because this ain't the first generation of youth that have said there's a disconnection, or I'm not listening to my elders, or so forth. We all done had bravado enough to think that we knew it all. This happens every generation, especially in this country, in this society. But when you find in these countries who are dominating, when you find in cultures that are dominating, they respect their elders. They respect their ancestors. It is in this country where we often say we have to continue to listen to the youth, and that's without a doubt. But the reality is we have to be able to have respect as elders, as teachers, as leaders. Not every so often new leaders pop up in their 12. There has to be somebody there before you that could guide you and lead you through that process. We are undisciplined people in America, especially us, because we struggle with things more than others because we are our experience here. But we do have to tap back into elders, and the elders do have to make themselves open enough and so that the youngsters can somehow heal through whatever they've been through. And the elders got healed too. But the reality is, I'm just going to keep it real straight. Because truth is truth. And I'm telling you, I'm just saying, the youngsters, including me, because somebody older than me, somebody older than everybody in this room, we have to learn from our elders. We have to learn to trust them. You ain't got to agree with everything, but you have to learn to transition that ancestral knowledge, that eldership knowledge over to the next generation. Without it, we're going to continue to spin our wheels. We have to show our children discipline. Those who have grown up under discipline and eldership, I guarantee you they fare much better as a whole. Those who have a problem with it, I promise you, they don't. Curtis.
Before we leave, is there any announcements? Kayla, announcements? Birthday bash?
Peace and blessings, family announcement. My birthday is February the 8th. But I do have, thank you. But I won't even be in Baltimore on that day. But the following week, I do have a birthday concert that I do every year. It features poetry, music. This year, to have a little bit of conversation. I'm releasing my third book called Love Hard, a collection of poems. So yeah, that's all I got. Oh, starting in March, after the first Monday in March, every Monday in March, I'll be doing a sister circle for women down at Nourish, down the street, the Elijah spot. So if y'all are interested, I'll tell y'all more about that when it comes up.
Of course he does. Y'all can speak to her after the circle. And Nana, permission to close the circle? She said no. We're going to continue for another half hour. Okay?
I would like to
Thank you.
congratulate her. She showed so much maturity.
Yes.
Yes. Enjoy having you sitting in with
And the baby.
Baby.
Okay, so this is Sabali Zion.
Sabali Zion.
His name, Sabali, means patience and perseverance. And I think that definitely resonates with this conversation. We need to have a little patience and remember our perseverance as a people. So.
Your name is?
My name is Cairo, like Egypt. Cairo.
So Sister Cairo is our DJ, Brother Carlos' daughter, and Dr. What's your mama?
Oh, she had to leave.
Okay, she had to leave. And Carlos, what's her name? Dr. Fry Harris. Professor at Morgan State University was honored. She had to leave. But we had a chance to, we were roasting marshmallows at the campsite. Yeah. Me and Cairo and her king, and the baby's dad, had a good conversation around the campfire a couple months ago. So I'm happy that she was able to come and be a part of the circle. Again, the Youthless Movement is a youthless movement. And we're going to close out with our 7 Harambe's. Father, can we close the circle?
Of course not.
Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Y'all just gonna be rebels. But again, we honor the young and the old, and we say that there's too much bleach. If you can stand, and we're gonna close out with our 7 Harambe's. Thank you guys for coming. We had some folks on here. Oh, they're back. To the 3 people that's still holding on, we appreciate you, and we're going to close out with 7 Harambe's. Put this black fist in the air, and we're going to bring down oppression. We're going to bring down Trumpism. We're going to bring down MAGA and anything that's standing in our way. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Harambe! 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 Have a safe trip until next Sunday. Come on.
Funky now.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.